A couple of years ago, if I had any free time at all, I was likely to be playing a game, be it a story-driven game such as Baldur's Gate or a competitive game like League of Legends. I would probably be spending my time playing that game rather than watching telly or watching Netflix or reading a book. But at the back of my mind, I always wanted to read a book. I always wanted that person that could sit down, enjoy a book, get in their own world and forget about everything else that was going on. And eventually I did become that person, and the book that actually got me into reading is the Mistborn series, but that is not what we're talking about today. We're talking about this book, which is Dungeon Crawler Carl. And this video really is in case there's any other people out there that were like me. You were spending most of your free time playing games, watching TV, but you always had an inkling at the back of your head that you wanted to read books, but you just didn't know where to start. You didn't know which book might be your gateway into becoming a book reader. So let me tell you how this book starts. There's an average guy called Carl who has just broken up with his girlfriend after finding out that she has cheated on him. He is currently looking after her cat and decides that he'll continue looking after the cat until she gets back from her holiday, and then she'll give the cat back. But that night, the cat jumps out the window onto a tree and he has to rush out and go and save the cat. But he's only in his boxers, and then someone in a different apartment from him starts shouting at him, and it's all not looking good for him. And then all of a sudden, every single building in the entire world collapses underneath the surface of the earth, meaning that the woman that was just shouting at him through a window gets decapitated. A tannoy then comes across the entire world saying that Earth has been invaded by aliens. And everyone on Earth who is still alive has two choices. Either they can stay on the surface of the world with none of the buildings anymore because they're all gone, and the environment is going to change, so it's going to be harder to live on the surface of the Earth, or there will be stairs that will appear in front of you and you can go down those stairs into an 18-floor dungeon, and if you manage to get to floor 18, then you could potentially save Earth. Cole had a little think and goes into the dungeon. So as a start of the book, that is pretty mental, and when I first heard that I was like, what the hell is going on? What is this book about? But after reading more and more, it's actually a very good book. But the reason I'm bringing this up for people that might spend a lot of time playing games is because a lot of the game mechanics are also introduced into this dungeon. For example, Carl gets access to a HUD, he gets experience and levels up, he's got skill trees he can pick from, he gets loot boxes and notifications and achievements and awards. So obviously if you are a gamer and you're coming into this book, there's a lot of the familiar aspects to it. But there's much more to it than that. It is a very funny book. There's a boss that is called a Karen and is, well, a Karen. And there's humour throughout from the awards that he gets and the different mob types that he has to fight. But something that did surprise me about the book was the amount of actual story there is, and how the author also brings the emotions of what's really happened into it. Because if we take out all the funniness and everything that's happened from what I've spoken about, the majority of the world has died and the rest of them have been put into this dungeon, and there's some of them that are killing other humans to steal their loot, and there's a lot of bad things that are happening. So although yes, there is a lot of humour, there is a good storyline to follow, and there are emotional moments that are brought in as well. And the book as a whole is very fast paced. You don't have long paragraphs describing every single detail of a room, for example. So if you are just getting into reading, it's good because you don't really want to have to read 2 pages explaining what a palace looks like, which you do have to do in some other fantasy series. The size of the book is relatively small as well. If you look at other fantasy and sci-fi books in the genre, some of them can be massive, whereas I can't remember how many pages exactly it is, but it's not very long. And another reason to start with this book is because there are actually 7 books in a series that are all connected. So Dungeon Crawler Carl is book 1, but if you do enjoy it and decide you want to read more of this story, there are 6 more books that are currently out, so you can just continue on your reading journey. But of course, if it does just inspire you to go and look at other books, then you could do that as well. Books that have game mechanics in them are a subgenre of fantasy called LitRPG, as in literature RPG. So if you do really enjoy this, but you maybe want to go and see what other authors have done, you can look at other LitRPG books. But for me, when I first read the Mistborn books, which is what got me into reading, it was more just that I had an hour of a day where it was completely mine. I didn't have to think, I just had to read, enjoy a story, enjoy a world, and escape. So you might just find that that is what you actually liked about reading this book, and then you might want to go and read Mistborn or go and read other fantasy and sci-fi books. I talk about them on this channel, so please subscribe. But there's tons and tons of information here on YouTube about different books for beginners who are just getting into reading as well. When people talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl, something that always comes up is the audiobook as well. The narration is really, really good. I read the first book as a physical book, but then I've listened to the audiobook of books 2 and 3, and I can confirm the narrator is very entertaining and is very good at being able to do the different voices of all the different characters. So even if you did want to get into reading, but maybe without actually physically having to read a book or a Kindle, for example, you could give the audiobook a go and see if that's enjoyable for you. And if I have convinced you to give Dungeon Crawler Carl a go, down in the description there will be links for you to go and buy the book, Kindle or physical edition, and there'll be links for you to go over to Audible and get it on there as well. If you are actually a reader as well and you think there are some other suggestions that will be good for people who are looking to get into reading, please put them down in the comments, and then other people who are watching this video can go down in the comments and find other people's opinions as well.